DLC 4 for Black Ops 6 Zombies has officially been revealed with the Reckoning trailer, and so I wanted to do a video going over my honest thoughts on the trailer and all of the marketing for Reckoning so far. Do I think this map is going to be good? Do I think it'll be bad? What are the main concerns I have for the map, and what do I think will definitely be great about it? I just want to quickly let you all know that KontrolFreeks has some amazing products right now, including the Galaxy Gamer Pack. Link is in the description. Use code XpertFusion for 12% off on all products. If you want to improve your aim and overall comfort using a controller, I highly recommend this. Let's start right off with the positives. The first big one that I definitely think is going to be a great part about this map is the Gorgofex Wonder Weapon. I was so worried about the Wonder Weapon for this map because leaks for it were saying that it was going to be a pistol of some kind, and just due to how underwhelming the Wonder Weapons have been in this game so far and the fact that they've been reusing a lot of older Wonder Weapons for this game, I really felt like this was going to be a reused Wonder Weapon pistol, and a lot of people were assuming probably the Cerberus from Black Ops Cold War. It just makes sense. Obviously, they're bringing back Klaus on this map, and of course, Klaus also came from Mauer Toten, so it would kind of just make sense to have that Cerberus Wonder Weapon return for this Reckoning map. But thankfully, that's not the case. We actually are getting an original Wonder Weapon. Of course, some people were saying that they think it looks like a reskinned version of the Cerberus, but I don't think that's the case at all. I think the only similarity is the fact that it's a pistol, but there's really no other similarities to it. And apparently there are 2 additional variants of the pistol. I'm not really sure how that's going to work. I'm assuming it's going to be you get the Wonder Weapon itself, and then there's 2 different upgrade paths for it. That's just kind of a guess. But hopefully in the game itself, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully it's going to be a really useful weapon, and hopefully the quest to get it will be really fun. My favorite thing about this weapon is just how it looks, though. It looks so beautiful. It has that creepy kind of monstrous look to it, kind of like the Apothicon Servant. Even the way you put the ammo into the weapon reminds me of the Apothicon Servant, so that is really cool. And also when you actually shoot the zombies with it, it seems like it can make them float in the air, kind of like an anti-gravity type weapon, and that's really cool. That's a unique concept that we've never seen before. It's not like this weapon is just copying something we've already seen. I guess you could argue it's kind of like the wave gun with how the zombies float up after getting basically microwaved by it, but I don't think it's the exact same because it seems like the zombies get like dropped to the floor after they float up. And obviously with the 2 additional variants, there's definitely going to be other attacks that the weapon has. So I'm definitely really excited to see how this weapon works on this map. I'm assuming it's going to be a big part of the Easter egg. And like I said, hopefully the quest for it is good. Another thing that looks amazing about this map are the special enemies. Now, we've only seen 2 special enemies from this map so far. I don't think there's going to be any secret special enemies that they throw in within the map itself, but I am a little bit worried about something else in regard to special enemies, which we'll talk about in a little bit in the concerns section of this video. But when it comes to the new special enemies that they showed off for this map, the Uber Klaus as well as the Commando Klaus, both of them look incredible. They are new bosses. They are not reused whatsoever. Some people have said that they're kind of similar to the Panzer Soldat, at least with the Uber Klaus, and I don't really think it's like that similar. The only similarity is it's a big robot, but that's about it. I don't think bosses should be judged on such a surface level where as long as it's a robot, it's the same as every other robot. That's just a weird way to look at it, in my opinion. I think it definitely looks different enough from the Panzer, and the attacks also seem sort of different. They don't seem like, you know, incredibly unique, but different enough. And when you do actually destroy Uber Klaus, a Commando Klaus does come out of it, which is kind of similar to the Megaton. When you kill the Megaton, it'll kind of like split off with 2 smaller special enemies that you then have to take out. So that concept isn't the most original concept ever, but it still is cool with how it's being implemented in this map. And like I said, it's just nice to have some more original bosses for this game because that has been a big problem with Black Ops 6 so far. The special enemies have been kind of weak, and in my opinion, they've just been, you know, doing way too much special enemy spam. They've been bringing them back on way too many maps. But the trailer only shows Uber Klaus and Commando Klaus. There are no other special enemies in the trailer. But like I said, that does not necessarily mean there won't be any others because there's a possibility for it, which again, we'll talk about in a little bit. Probably the thing I liked about this trailer more than anything is the unstable gravity room. This got me so excited because what I've been asking for so long is more map unique features and mechanics. And don't get me wrong, I don't think this is necessarily going to be like the most insane thing ever where it just immediately makes this map an S tier. It's just nice to have certain areas of maps where they're very unique and there's different mechanics about them that set them apart from other areas of that map and other maps in that game. That was one thing I loved about Der Eisendrock with the low gravity room in the Undercroft. Like, that was a really cool feature for that map where you can kind of like do the whole boost jumping around that room whenever the low gravity turns on. And it seems like we're going to be getting a very similar thing on Reckoning, where there is going to be a section of the map, I guess it's just one little room, where there is low gravity every now and then, and you will be able to float in that room. And it looks really cool in the trailer. You can literally dolphin dive in that room, and it like slowly brings you down because obviously there's low gravity. So that's really fun, and I really do think it will make this map a lot more interesting than the other maps in this game. Another point that kind of connects to what I just said is the whole idea of the map being very vertical. I think that is going to set this map apart from the other maps in the game so substantially, and that's a great thing. I've been saying multiple times throughout this year that Black Ops 6's maps feel too similar to each other. Even when they try to do different things, half of the time it just feels like every other map in the game regardless. Shattered Vale definitely felt the most unique out of any map in the game so far, and I think a big part of that was the lack of special enemy spam. That was great, but a lot of the other maps in the game just felt the same, and I felt like that was a big issue with this game. But so far, it seems like they're going pretty far with the map Reckoning and making it feel unique and different from the other maps in the game. Of course, it's not going to be perfect in that regard. There are a lot of other things that are just always going to be these streamlined mechanics that modern zombies maps have, which I'm hoping will stop in Black Ops 7. But of course, I'm expecting a lot of that. But it's just nice to see, at the very least, they're definitely going far with trying to make the map feel different. I mean, there's even parachuting. You can literally parachute down the tower. That is a unique mechanic. I don't think it's going to be necessarily game-changing, but it's going to be unique enough to set this map apart, and I think that's a good thing. But to be honest, I did say the same thing about Terminus before the map came out. I thought the boat driving would really set that map apart from other maps, but to be honest, looking back at it, I feel like I don't really use the boat that often on Terminus. You really only use it when you're doing a few different Easter egg steps, but when you're just regularly playing the map, there's really not many reasons to go to the islands, so I feel like I'm not really using the boat that often, so it didn't end up being a huge part of the map. And it's entirely possible that the whole parachuting thing could be one of those things as well, where you don't really use it that often, but I have no clue. We'll just have to wait and see until we play the map. A lot of the map does look really cool as well, and that's been another issue I've had with Black Ops 6 for a while now, where I feel like the maps aren't the most interesting in the world. They're not entirely boring, of course, but I feel like just compared to like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 and even Infinite Warfare, like I just don't care about a lot of the areas of these maps. I mean, for example, 3 of the maps in this game all take place in the same Liberty Falls area, which I feel like is just kind of weird. But visually, the interior of this map does look really, really cool, especially the rooms with all the different plants and the Dark Ether stuff kind of making its way into the main world. That stuff looks incredible, and even the anti-gravity room as well looks incredible, but the exteriors don't look the best. It looks okay, I guess. Like the little sunset they got going on definitely sets it apart from Shattered Vale. I like that, but it does kind of have that militaristic feel that, in my opinion, doesn't interest me that much. But the interiors look incredible, so I'm fully on board with that. I think it's going to be really fun to explore this map and just see the eeriness of different rooms. And I think the special enemies contrast the look of the map very nicely. Like the robots just look like they fit the theme of this map pretty much perfectly. And the last positive I want to talk about in this video is the Mr. Peaks field upgrade that unfortunately isn't going to be coming at launch with Season 5. They've been doing that weird thing where a lot of the rewards for the events are just like general items that should just be given in other ways, but like the fact that you have to unlock the Mr. Peaks field upgrade through an event is, I don't know, it's just weird, and that event doesn't come till later, so it's not going to be there at launch. But the Mr. Peaks field upgrade does look really cool and unique. I'm glad they're giving us unique field upgrades that are very different, but I do still wish this was a map unique piece of equipment instead of being something that's just going to be on every map as a field upgrade. But it's better than nothing because it does look really cool, and it looks like it'll be a lot of fun to use, where if you call it in, Mr. Peaks just kind of runs around and starts killing zombies and dancing and all that goofy stuff, and I think stuff like that is what zombies needs more of. Now let's get into my concerns for the map. What do I think could possibly be a bad aspect of this map, or just things I'm overall a bit more worried about? But of course, we haven't actually played the map itself, so I'm not saying these are definitive problems with the map. Obviously, I can't know that until I play it, but they're just more so concerns that I have. First of all, I want to get this out of the way because I actually don't think this is as big of a deal as other people are making it out to be, and this is the fact that there's no new perk, no new gobblegums, and no new ammo mod. Now, that definitely does seem odd considering we've had a new perk for every other map in this game, and we've had tons of new gobblegums. There hasn't always been a new ammo mod, and we just kind of got one last season, so I definitely don't think as many people are mad about that, but people seem to be mostly mad about the no new perk and the no new gobblegums. But to be honest, although I do see it as a negative, I don't think it's the end of the world, unless they were going to be adding a really interesting and really game-changing perk, kind of like what Double Tap was for Shattered Veil. But if they were to add something like Mule Kick or Tombstone, I really don't think it would add a lot to the map, and I really wouldn't care that much if those perks were added or not. But the more perks, the better, so I am going to put this as a negative because yes, having another perk would have been nice. Gobblegums, I don't really use them that much myself, but for the people who do use gobblegums in this game, of course, more gobblegums would be nice too. Some people have been saying they might be saving them for Season 6, and that's entirely possible, but it would be kind of weird to introduce a perk in Season 6 instead of just introducing it with the map itself, because then you're not going to get the physical perk machine on this map. That's kind of the main excitement people have with a new perk, is getting the physical perk machine. It's also possible that they're saving the new perks for Black Ops 7. Maybe they were originally going to add one for this map, but they decided they want to save it for Black Ops 7's launch. Who knows? But overall, it's not the end of the world for me, but I am going to include it as a negative because, of course, having new stuff would have been nice. Overall, I do care about having new stuff that is unique to the maps themselves, and obviously when they add perks, gobblegums, ammo mods, and all that stuff, it's just thrown onto every map, so I usually don't care about that stuff as much as I care about like actual map unique things, which is probably why I don't care about this as much as other people do. This next thing is something that I'm pretty disappointed by, and that's the fact that it doesn't look like there's going to be a grappling hook on this map. And honestly, this is something that we have all been hoping for a long time, ever since we saw the grappling hook in Black Ops 6's campaign, and we knew we were going to be getting a tower map at the end of this DLC season. It just made sense that the grapple hook would come to this map. But it was not shown in the trailer, it was not shown in any of the marketing so far, so I'm going to assume it might not be on the map. Now, it is entirely possible that they could be saving this for the map itself, and it's going to be some side quest reward. That would be really, really cool, but right now at this moment it's not in the marketing, so I'm going to include it as a concern that it might not come to the map. And even just looking at the map, I'm not really sure how the grapple hook would work on this map. Maybe it would only work inside the towers themselves, because originally I thought we'd be able to like fully explore the outdoor areas of this building, but none of the gameplay shows the players like out on the ground floor, so I don't think you're actually able to explore all of that area. I think it's just going to be the towers themselves, and then you can jump to each tower with the different teleporters and the jump pads, which I know is kind of weird because the intro of that trailer shows everyone parachuting in, and so originally I thought you were going to parachute into the map to start, but I think that might just be for a cinematic. I don't think it's actually going to be like a map thing itself where you can parachute into the map. Again, I could be wrong. It seems like the parachutes are mainly going to be used just to like jump down the tower from the inside itself. But who knows? We might get a grapple hook in the full map. It's entirely possible. I'm just putting it out there as a concern because I think this would be the perfect time to give us a grapple hook, and it would be a really cool map unique thing. Now, even though I've been very clear that I'm very excited for the special enemies of this map, the fact that we're getting 2 brand new special enemies and they look really cool and really unique, there is one thing that kind of worries me. In the blog post, they said specifically that mechanical threats are only one of the expected adversaries on this map. Reports of zombified Project Janus security and administrative personnel, the remains of scientists, hazmat crews, and even experimental mutations are confirmed to be active within the towers. This is basically them saying there is other things on the map that isn't just those robotic special enemies. And when I first read this, I was like, oh, they're just talking about the regular zombies and the armored zombies and all that. And that's obviously a normal thing for COD zombies. Obviously, you're going to have regular zombies. But the last sentence says experimental mutations. And obviously, what do you think of when you hear about experimental mutations? You think of the vermin, the parasites, the doppelgast, and the amalgam. Those are all part of that mutation evolution thing they've been doing within Black Ops 6 Zombies. So that makes me think they might have those special enemies included on the map, and I really hope not. Now, I have said before, I am totally fine with having a lot of special enemies on a map, but I prefer when they're very new and original. I don't really care if you have like 8 special enemies on a map, just don't bring back a bunch of ones ones we've already seen before again and again and again, and obviously don't have them be spammed throughout the map. I think Shattervale did a good job with that. They did not have much special enemy spam. They made sure to only have certain special enemies come in the map every now and then. It wasn't like a frequent thing, and that worked really, really well. And I hope this map can do the same thing, even if those other special enemies do return. What I'd also be okay with is if those special enemies are exclusive to specific Easter egg steps. Maybe the vermin only pop up during a one Easter egg step and that's it. Or maybe there's an amalgam you have to take out in a one Easter egg step. Like, that's totally fine with me. I would not have an issue with that, but I do not want to see amalgams, doppelgas, vermin, parasites just all throughout the map as a regular special enemy. That would suck, and that would really not be helping this map whatsoever. The new score streak they announced is the combat bow, which obviously is coming to multiplayer as well. And to be honest, I'm just kind of bored of a lot of these score streaks they keep adding. They don't really add a lot to the experience for me. I really wish they would utilize score streaks in a very different way in this game as more map unique things. I don't find much interest in just throwing the multiplayer score streaks into zombies and just calling it a day. I would like some zombies unique score streaks too. One thing that I just personally don't see much interest in, but it's not really hurting the map. It's just, I wanted to point it out as something that doesn't really interest me too much. And the last concerns I have are kind of beating a dead horse at this point. It's stuff I've been mentioning with every single map in this game so far, and I really hope this does not continue into Black Ops 7, but this is just overall the modern zombies mechanics and the overall lack of depth of a lot of these maps. That has been my biggest issue with modern zombies as a whole. I don't like the new point system. I don't like the loadout system. I don't like the rarity system. I don't like how salvage works in the map. I don't like the streamlined mechanics and systems across all of the maps. I think there's not nearly enough depth to the maps. I think there's not nearly enough things to do. There's not nearly enough useful, unique, and rewarding side Easter eggs that actually feel like side quests and feel lengthy. Those are a bunch of issues I just had with basically every map in this game, and there's been some good spots every now and then, don't get me wrong. It's not like terrible in that regard. It's definitely an improvement over Black Ops Cold War and Vanguard, but I don't think this map is necessarily going to change that significantly. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think they're going to suddenly have a bunch of lengthy side quests that are really rewarding. Like, if, for example, if they were to give us the Ether Blade as a side quest reward, or maybe the grappling hook, like I mentioned before, if they were to actually have that as a thing on this map, or maybe a upgrade for the Casimir, like something more interesting than just the basic, oh, here's some salvage, here's some points, here's a perk or something, like something that goes beyond that. I don't expect this map to have a bunch of that, just because most Black Ops 6 maps have not really had that, and I don't expect the Easter egg to be incredibly long. Although I expect it to be good and fun, I don't expect it to be on the length and complexity of something like Black Ops 4, which is what I want to see out of zombies. And then, of course, going back to the mechanics, we obviously know those aren't going to just change suddenly. Even though this map does seem to have a few map unique things like the anti-gravity room, it's just not going to suddenly change the core mechanics of the game, obviously. I really hope going into Black Ops 7 they make some significant changes, either if that's through a classic mode or just actually changing the core mechanics and systems themselves, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. We just kind of have to deal with it, but I needed to point this out as a concern for the map because it always is. I do think no matter how good this map can be, this will hold it back for me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I, of course, will be covering this map right when it releases with guides, reviews, live streams, and all sorts of videos. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace out, everyone.